So it won't take very long, and it's called A Moment in Time. The photographer sat watching the group of young men in the middle of the square. He thought of himself as a photographer, but never sold any of his work, or even showed his pictures, except to a select few at the camera club. There were 8 young men, he'd counted. 5 were sitting or laying on the warm slabs. A couple of them were squatting on their haunches, and one, the bald one, was standing, half entertaining, half holding court. Their shadows were sharp and black in the afternoon sun. Some were stripped to the waist, others with their shirts open, all of them tanned to varying degrees of bronze, like men who spent all their time out of doors. Each of them had a can, Coke, 7-Up, Fanta, but the photographer knew their secret. He'd seen them fish the cans from various bins around the square, gather into a huddle on the spot where they were now, and fill them up with clear liquid from one of the large green bottles that now stood warming in a plastic carrier bag. The photographer wanted to take a photograph of the men, his camera concealed beneath his light jacket, its long lens heavy and solid under his arm. They were interesting, visually, but he was nervous, cautious, in case they saw him and took exception. A lad sitting on a wall smoking. "What you take that photo for? You checking up on us?" "Nah, he's a perv. Probably gets off on them when he's at home." He could still feel the burning flesh on his cheeks as he'd hurried away. "Kirby! Kirby!" The bald one seemed older than the others, 30s rather than 20s. A fit, muscular man, his broad chest enforested with dark hair. He was a jester. But see that by the way the others deferred to him, laughed too loud at his jokes, worked too hard to win his favour. A young woman, slowly pushing an empty buggy in the heat, stopped by the low wall. "Anyone sitting here?" The photographer looked up at her, surprised. No." Ponytail, pink sleeveless t-shirt, a tattoo on her upper arm. As she sat down, a toddler gambolled into view, inexpertly chasing a pigeon, which made no attempt to fly, but strutted an indignant zigzag with a sharp sideways eye on its pursuer. The young woman rummaged in a bag slung on the back of the buggy and produced a mobile. As she sat back, she said, "Hot, innit?" The photographer shifted his damp buttocks slightly.